Welcome to Chasing Tents, everyone. My name is Abhi. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. This is a new series of episodes where I'll be taking you on a journey with me to the cathedral of motorcycle racing, or motorsport, you can say, to Assen in Holland. Now, there is going to be a 2-day track event at Assen. And before going to Assen, I'm here at TBR Performance in Hungerford, just outside Swindon in the UK, to do a little bit of kind of TLC work, just oil change, oil filter change, and a dyno run. So if you've been following me, I've not done any racing this year in 2023. This is September 2023 now, and no racing, no track days. Last year I did a 90% season of endurance racing in the UK, and it was just fantastic. But I spent that much money last year, and this year with the credit crunch, I just couldn't afford to go back on the track. So this is going to be my first event after probably about 11 months of no action. So I'm going to be a bit rusty, but the bike as well, we want to put that on the dyno to make sure everything is running okay. Now, one of the big reasons I want to put the bike on the dyno is a few months ago, I got the oil leak sorted on the bike. So on my last race, I had a bit of an oil leak coming from one of the heads on top. We sorted that out earlier this year. So now I just want, and also what we did was we put a new Akrapovic race map on the Aprilia RSV4 RF, which suits my exhaust, the kind of slip-on exhaust I've got. Now what I want to do is make sure that the bike kind of runs okay on the dyno. And I've got a Power Commander 5 with a secondary fueling module already on the bike. So just want to marry that Akrapovic map in the ECU and that kind of Power Commander stuff. You don't really need a Power Commander on these modern bikes, but I got one for very cheap in 2017. So I've got that on the bike. I just want to make sure everything runs absolutely fine with no problems. What I also want to do is take you on this journey with me. So this will be a series of episodes. So this is part 1. This is all about kind of the oil change and the dyno and everything. Part 2 will be about something very special set of brake calipers, and also a master cylinder which I'm putting on. But I don't want to make this video too long. I want to take you inside, and in this part 1, it's all going to be about dyno.
Road shit or race shit?
Whoa! welcome back everyone. So that was an unbelievable dyno section. Something I've never experienced before. It was just riddled with problems, one after the other. Basically, first of all, there was no fuel in the bike, which I can't believe, because before, it's just psychologically, because I've got the Suzuki, the Triumph, and the Honda, and I brimmed them up with fuel in the winter time and put additive, so the ethanol level is low. So I had a feeling this one's got pretty decent amount of fuel in it, but it had no fuel. So I had to get the fuel first from the petrol station. But then we just had problem after problem. The bike would not go anything after 9.5, 10,000 revs, and it would go dead at 150 horsepower. So then everything, everyone no one panicked, which is amazing. So massive shout out to Matt and Gareth. The two guys were on it constantly. They did not panic. They weren't frustrated. And guys, this is like a last minute thing. I've got to go to Assen tomorrow. I've come here. All they were supposed to do was run a dyno on my bike, do a dyno on my bike to make sure everything's running. So we thought that a Kropovich map, which we put on the ECU, is not talking to the power commander, or they are both fighting each other or stuff like that. Nothing like that at all. We took the power commander off first. Still the problem was there. We checked the solenoids. We checked the solenoid, which moved the throttle bodies and stuff like that. Checked all that. It took a long time. I think the guys were on it for about 3-4 hours. Nothing like that. In the end, unfortunately, the problem was quite simple. And I had this issue in 2017 as well. In the exhaust pipe, there's an exhaust servo motor. If you own an Aprilia or most modern bikes, you know that. And that motor was taken out, and it was lock wired open, so that valve was completely open constantly. So I don't have a full Kropovich system. I have the slip-on with the OEM headers. So it's meant to stay on open all the time, lock wired, stretched open. And it hasn't gone wrong for the last 5.5, 6 years. And it looked like the lock wire was still on it. But within time, it just slightly untwisted itself, and that valve closed. So every time you would accelerate, after 10,000 revs, it would just close, and we had no power. So ultimately, we found the solution to the problem. We weren't chasing horsepower here. We weren't chasing any kind of figures here. We just wanted to make sure the bike is running fine for the trip to Assen. Now, all I've got on the bike now, okay, the power commander is gone, the secondary fueling module is gone, just got the ECU with the normal Aprilia Kropovich map. So I've brought things back to simplified things, and I'm really happy, because the daylight is about to be over, and I was meant to go to Oulton to my good friend Gogo to have a sleepover at his, and then go to next day to the ferry. But it's all my whole timetable, my whole schedule has been spoiled by this unbelievable issue. But I have got a grin. I'm grinning because I'm relieved, because I thought there's a major problem, and I'm gonna have hardly any power, or 70% of the power, when I go to Assen. So with the power figures and stuff like that, it's 174 horsepower, I think 80 torques, but that's not, because we had to recalibrate everything. These figures, and it's on an SC2 slick as well, so it absorbs power. So so power figures and stuff are pointless, really. So massive shout out to TBR Performance and Matt Wren, because they were supposed to close at 4 o'clock. This is 7 o'clock right now, and they were this is Saturday evening as well, so they've cancelled all their plans. And two other guys who were helping me out, they've cancelled all their plans as well to help me out. So this was the first part of this trip to Assen, about bike maintenance, slightly oil change, filter change, dyno run. Power commander is now out, secondary fueling module is now out, simplified things now, and it's time to go to Assen. But there will be part 2, and part 2 will be from here as well, which is fitting the lovely Accusato calipers, race calipers, and the master cylinder from Accusato as well, and the pads, carbon pads from Accusato, which come with the calipers. So if you buy these race calipers, you get the pads free. I will tell you all about that in part 2. I don't want to bore you anymore with a lot of tech information, which I've already given you. So thank you for watching, guys. Please stay with this series. Part 2 will be amazing, and please like and subscribe if you haven't. Look after yourself. I'll see you in part 2.